Disclaimer, everything in this video is just my humble opinion. Your boy is just a college student. I am by no means a movie expert or a movie reviewer or any of these things. I'm just out here ranting about this movie that I really enjoyed. Also, there's gonna be some spoilers, so watch out. At first, I was a bit hesitant checking out this movie Soul, and that is because before I watch any movie, I usually check out what percent of people liked it on Google reviews. And when I did that for Soul, I saw that 85% of people liked it. So I thought to myself, I guess it's a good movie, but like not like amazing or anything, but I guess it's good, right? Boy, was I wrong. Soul was absolutely amazing. I mean, in every sense of the word. From the music to the comedy to the setting and along with all the characters, I mean, it was just awesome. The first thing I noticed about the movie was the concept, which was actually very similar to this show called The Good Place on Netflix. The Good Place is a show that deals with the concept of death and the afterlife, and that's also what Soul deals with. So that's the first thing I noticed. But the movie manages to accomplish so much and relays strong messages about just existence as a whole, which I really enjoyed. For example, there's this character in the movie called 22, as in soul number 22. It is essentially a new soul that does not want to go to Earth because, well, Earth sucks, right? Like Earth sucks. It's understandable, right? But once things happen in the movie, right? I don't want to say what things happen, but once things happen in the movie and Soul number 22 actually manages to land on Earth, she starts enjoying life and her mind starts to change about life on Earth. And by the way, I'm saying her because the voice actor was a female. For me, this felt like a very familiar experience that all of us, had at some point. When you're not sure about trying something new, so you just decide to never do it. Like that seems like it's not gonna be fun or whatever, so I'm just never gonna do it, right? We've all had something like that, had a feeling like that about something. Then one day you try it somehow, and you're like, oh my god, you're just like, oh my god, what have I been missing? For me, this was sushi. Uh, one moment in particular that hit me so hard and actually almost made me cry was when Joe Gardner, the main character of the movie, accomplished what he wanted to do his whole life. It is something that he dreamed about his whole life. He finally accomplished it. But after he did that, he felt dull. Like he stated to himself that I I thought I'd feel different. Like this is not what I thought I'd feel like. It just feels lackluster, right? Then he goes to his home, and at his home, he looks back at the enjoyment that Soul 22 experienced on Earth, and then he realizes that his life is not defined by one amazing musical performance. Life is much more complex and beautiful than that. He takes a moment to internally realize that, wait, I am just one human in the densely populated New York City, in the whole of the United States, on Earth, in this whole universe. Joe decides to live his life one moment at a time and enjoy just being alive because life is not about one thing. Life is complex, life is beautiful. Yes, it can be harsh and depressing at times, but at other times it could also be beautiful and uplifting. So when we think about life, we should take all of it into account. A lot of the times we take what we have for granted. The ability to walk, the ability to talk, the ability to do what we like to do just in life, in our daily life. We take that for granted. A lot of the times we only think about what we don't have and we don't necessarily think about what we do have in our own life. We talk to people, but we only talk about our life. We don't necessarily ask them about their life, or even if we do, we don't necessarily care that much. And that is something that the movie dives into. For example, during the barbershop scene, uh, when Soul 22 was in Joe's body, Soul 22 was just talking about existence, talking about life, talking about the purpose of life, and everyone was just listening. And the barber, I forgot his name now, but at the end he was like, "Man, I had such a good conversation with you today, and this is why I chose, being a barber, even though it wasn't necessarily my dream at first, because I can sit with people and meet different people and talk about their life and so many interesting things." Because before that, Joe would only go to the barber and talk about his own life, which was about jazz. He would only talk about jazz. But after this experience, the barber tells him, it's really nice to talk about you about it's really nice to talk with you about something that isn't jazz. And at that moment, Joe realizes, wait, this whole time I was just so invested in this jazz thing that I forgot to just enjoy the basic aspects of life. I forgot to enjoy conversations about other things other than jazz, which is obviously life is not only about jazz. And at the end, it's just the movie is really amazing. And another thing that the movie does well is that it explains itself without having to explain itself, if that makes sense. Like there's nobody saying, "Oh, and at this moment Joe realized," or whatever, or something like that, or the characters themselves saying, "Oh, I realize this is not like." You just look at, you look at the beauty of the animation and the pictures they show, and then you realize what the movie is trying to say, which is, I really like that medium of conveying like emotion and change in attitude and things like that. I really like that. Just when you see it, but you don't necessarily have to be, informed of it. And so that's something that I really enjoyed in the movie. And honestly, like I could say that this movie is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Pixar slash Disney movie ever. I mean, I liked Inside Out, but to me, I thought this was much more awesome or much more amazing than Inside Out. Another thing, another minor thing is that I really liked the character of Joe. Like he was human, right? Like he wasn't overly annoying, and at the same time he wasn't amazing all around, if that makes sense. Like he was just the right balance. He was human. Like he felt very relatable. And also the setting of New York just felt very relatable to me because I live in New York, and it was just so funny. And also the comedy. Like at times, the comedy would just be the subtle thing and it just makes me laugh so much. And that's kind of a rarity for me when it comes to like animated movies like this, because usually I kind of find the comedy like childish. But in this movie especially, I don't know why, it felt so good and just so natural and so funny. I loved it so much. I love the soundtracks. And yeah, go check out Soul. Go check out this movie. I said Soul 22, not Soul 22. Go check out the movie Soul. It is honestly amazing. But obviously, you don't have to take my word for it. You can go watch it yourself and see. uh, Thank you for watching, and take care. Peace.